Hey everybody, Jonathan Clark here at Last Chance Archery. I am here with another how to do it video, and in this video I'm going to show you our new RAS V-notch assembly. So the RAS V-notch assembly goes with the Revolution arrow saw. It is a new attachment that you can add on to any arrow saw that was purchased anytime between 2020 and 2021. Any saw in 2022 will already have this standard, but if you have purchased a saw prior and you have the original V-notch piece here on your saw, you can always buy the new V-notch assembly separate. It's very easy to put on and it's very easy to use. So let's dive into it and we will show you how to set up and how to use the new RAS V-notch assembly. Alright, so you're going to need a couple of tools. You're going to need a 1/8 inch Allen wrench, you're going to need a 3/32 Allen wrench, and you're going to need a ruler. So the first thing you're going to do, of course, is you want to be sure you already have the RAS V-notch assembly, and you can lay it off to the side, but you'll just move everything out of your way, and then you're just going to loosen the screw holding on the original V-notch. You'll take the V-notch off the saw, and it's very simple. So you take the new V-notch assembly and you want the thumb screw here on the V-notch assembly to be facing the front of the saw. So this saw, I'm standing behind it. So I'm going to take this and the thumb screw is going to be facing this direction, which is the side of the saw you cut arrows on. So you'll slide it on to this D-shaped rod and you'll tighten the thumb screw down, remove the old piece, put the new piece on. So you may be asking, what's the benefit to the new V-notch assembly compared to the old one? So the old one had adjustability, just like the new V-notch assembly, but one thing the new V-notch assembly has is the ability to cut every arrow, no matter the diameter, perfectly flat. And I'll tell you why. So with the original V-notch, when you put an arrow in it, the smaller the arrow was, the further down in the V it would sit, the bigger the arrow was, the higher it would sit. So when you do that, you're automatically starting with a slightly incorrect cut, just depending upon the size arrow you were cutting. So with the new V-notch assembly, we eliminate that by making the bottom of the V-notch assembly flat. And that flat is perfectly level with your table on this opposite side. So no matter how big your arrow shaft is, you're always going to be cutting square. It's also spring loaded, so that after you put the arrow in, it's going to hold your arrow down, so you can just focus on this end of the arrow while you're cutting. You're not having to put one finger here on this end and one finger here and then try to rotate the shaft like you were with the original V-notch. So the new V-notch assembly is spring-loaded. It has a flat on the bottom so that no matter the size arrow, it's always going to cut flat in relation to your table on this end of the saw. Those are a couple of the features. And now I'm going to show you how to use it and also how to make sure your table is set to the correct height to make this function correctly. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to do is remove the water container from your saw. This is simply just to get it out of the way so that you have room to work here on the front of the saw. So it's very simple. To get this table in line with your V-notch assembly, you're going to take your ruler and you're going to measure from the top of the arrow saw track to the top of your table. And you want that measurement to be 2 inches. So this one is dead on 2 inches. It's been set here in our facility, but just to show you and to give you an example, I'm going to show you how to loosen the screws and adjust it. So you just loosen the 2 main screws that are vertical to each other, straight above and below the hole where the squaring device is. So you just loosen those screws. And as you can see, when you loosen those screws, there is some play, and we leave that play in this unit so that it can be adjusted just slightly, so you can see it can go up and down. So what you want to do is take your ruler and you want to set it at 2 inches, and that is perfect. And then simply tighten these screws back down and then check it. So I'm just going to tighten them about halfway, and now I'm going to check it again. We're at 2 inches, so everything's good. So I'm going to cinch these screws down one at a time. Now that they're cinched down, you're good to go. The arrow guide, or the table as we call it, is perfectly level with your V-notch assembly on the other end. Again, you're going to measure from the top of the aerosol track to the top of this table, and that measurement needs to be 2 inches exactly to be perfectly level. All right, so now that the V-notch assembly is installed, I'm going to show you how to use it. Again, as we have mentioned in previous videos, we always recommend before cutting arrow shafts that you put on safety glasses. We recommend that you use the water dripper and the vacuum to help eliminate carbon dust, but we definitely recommend safety glasses just in case any carbon pieces were to spin out of the saw. You want to have eye protection on when you're cutting any arrow shaft. So what you'll do, it's very simple. You'll take the arrow shaft, and inside the V-notch assembly there is a small opening or slot. So you just slide the arrow in that slot. You're going to lift straight up, and it's spring loaded, so there'll be pressure against it, and then you slide the arrow in, and you're going to put the arrow against the stop just as if you use the old V-notch. The stop can be used with the measuring tape so that you can set your length, and it is as simple as that. You can pull the arrow right back out. You can put another arrow in, you slide it in, pull up, and push it back to the stop. It is as simple as that. The bottom of the V-notch assembly is flat. You've already got your table to the correct depth as well. So at this point, you're ready to cut any arrow, and it's always going to be cut square. I'll do that once again. You slide the arrow in, you lift up, and then you put the arrow against the stop, and you're ready to go. This has the same adjustment as the original V-notch. You can loosen this thumb knob, and you can move the V-notch assembly all the way to the back. You can move it to the center or all the way to the front. And that's just giving you more options just in case you have an arrow with fletchings. You can move the V-notch assembly back to give room so that the fletchings aren't hitting. So you can cut arrows with or without fletchings, bare, with points, it doesn't matter. You can cut it however you see fit, and you can accomplish whatever you're trying to accomplish when you're rebuilding or building new arrows. Well, that's all there is to it. The new RAS V-notch assembly is available now. Get it to add to your Revolution arrow saw and make it a lot easier to cut arrow shafts. And on top of that, having the ability to cut every arrow shaft square to begin with. Of course, with the saw, you can square it after the fact with the internal squaring device, but of course, you want your cut to be as square as possible to begin with. And this RAS V-notch assembly can help you do that. Thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Visit our website and watch any other how to do it video we have listed there. We're going to keep adding how to do it videos, and be sure if you have any questions to contact our office. You can send us an email, a website contact form, or you can call us directly and ask to speak to one of our techs, and we'd be happy to help. Thank you and have a great day.